Hey everyone. This is for lesson lesson 24 of measurement. I know the paper looks pretty messy, but I should be able to explain it pretty quickly. This is for page 46 and 47. We're talking about finding the volumes with triangular prisms. Our last class we talked about how to find the volume of rectangular prisms, and we had this base formula. So if we find the area of a shape, if this is for rectangular or squares or rectangles, the area is length times width. The volume of that same shape, if it was a prism, is length times width times height. So what you'll notice with this equation is you're doing volume equals area times height. We should get that in our brain because that's what we're essentially going to do with triangles too. Okay, so we always want to find the volume of to find the volume, we want to find the area of the base. Another way to describe this actually is V equals capital B H. Capital B being the area of the base. Okay, so volume equals the area of the base times height, or you could say the area times height, or you could say length times width times height. But either way, this is our formula that we're using for volume, and this is going to apply to when we're dealing with triangles specifically. So here I have two drawings. I have this rectangular prism, and this is a triangular prism. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is I have my drawings and I have this part, and this is saying, okay, I want to find let me write this one down differently. I want to find the area of the base, which is right here. That's this. And then I'm going to multiply it by its height. So say if this was 2, 2, and 6, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 2 times 2. So my volume is going to equal 2 times 2. And I'm going to multiply it by 6 because that's the height. Now, it doesn't look like the height, but that's because I've drawn it this way. If I were to draw it vertically, I could also show it that way. I'm not going to, but you always want to figure out, okay, where's my base? What part of my prism has the two sides on it, right? So I could say that this is my base and this is my base. So I'm going to do 2 times 2 to find the area of the base, and I'm going to multiply it by 6. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 6 is 24, and I'm going to say centimeters cubed because that's the units that you do volume in. Okay, now we have a triangle here. Triangles are a little bit different, and the reason they're different is because the way that you find the area of a triangle. To find the area of a triangle, if we remember, we want to do base times height divided by 2. Now, we call it base by times height because we're doing this measurement and this measurement. Okay, so that measurement tells me what my values are. So let's say this is 2 and 2 again, and this is 8. What I'm going to say is I'm going to say, okay, well, if this was a perfect square, right? If this is a perfect square, it would be 2 by 2, but it's half that because a triangle is always half of a rectangle. So I'm going to find the area of my base, which is base times height, so 2 times 2, and then multiply by height. Now, this is where the issue is, because we're using h twice. There's probably a better term that can be used in this situation, but I'm not exactly sure what it would be, to be honest. But what we're going to say is we want to find the area of the base, which is doing this equation, base times height divided by 2, and then we're going to multiply by height. Okay, so this is the same rule we always do when we're doing volume. So I'm going to do 2 times 2 divided by 2 times by 8. So that's 4 divided by 2, which is 2, times 8, which is 16 centimeters cubed. Okay? If I were to have put the exact same, so say this 8 was actually a 6. Let's change this 8 into a 6. This is going to turn out to be half of this because the way it works is the volume of a triangular prism is always half the volume of the same rectangular prism. Okay, so if these were to be the exact same measurements, say it's 2 by 2 and 6, I would have an answer that would be exactly half of this, because triangles are always half the same area as a square rectangle, and that means a triangular prism follows that exact same rule. It's always half. So just the general rule: find the area of the base and then multiply by its height. That's kind of what you should be doing. You're going to do page 48 and 49, number 1, 4, and 6. Hope this is helpful.